I'm Billy Beane, General Manager and Vice President of the Oakland Athletics baseball team here in Oakland, California. This is my 15th year on the job. My responsibilities are mainly player personnel along with the staff on the field. It's a lot of hats, though, beyond that as well as far as scouting, developing players, particularly domestically and then also internationally. Sports analytics to me is basically using metrics and using data to hopefully in an effort to become more efficient and more consistent with your decision making. Player evaluation and costs of players are a very important part of the sports executive job. And with the advent of technology, there's been a greater interest, I think, in it. And when we all consider that this is a big business, I think we're all looking for ways to be efficient, and we're all looking for key metrics to help us be efficient. It's been amazing over the last 10 years, the growth of sports analytics. I think the great thing about it is it's really been, it's allowed some really bright young people to get into sports that maybe normally wouldn't have been involved. I know in the United States, the nature of the job has changed significantly. There's a lot more analysis going on that's at a higher level. Strong mathematical backgrounds are very welcome now in the sport. And I think it's great because we've got some very, very bright young guys who maybe 20 years ago maybe would have applied for jobs on Wall Street, but now they're applying for jobs in baseball and in other sports. And I think that intellectual capital has helped the game grow and make the business better and more efficient. We've had conferences over here for probably the last decade. Certainly since the book Moneyball came out, there's been a growing interest. I think that's a credit to Michael Lewis, who seems to be ahead of the curve in a lot of things. And to see it grow, particularly in the UK and in Europe, is great. From my end, I'm a very, very big European football fan, so to see it parallel now with sports analytics over there, to me is fascinating. It's given me the opportunity to meet some people from across the pond, some very bright people who are interested in this as a business and have thoughts and ideas that, and I think ultimately you're going to have an interchange of ideas just like you do in any other business where, their interest in it will bring ideas to us, to people in the U.S. and vice versa. Well, I still think that quest is still going on. I think the idea that I mean, we're all looking for better answers. There's inefficiencies in all parts of the business in sports. For me, I think one of the biggest inefficiencies in sports right now is medical and health. I think the cost of losing players to injury, just for a couple of weeks, if you can minimize that downtime, if you can reduce the number of injuries, it'll give you a huge advantage because injuries in many cases are the greatest determinant on whether a team is successful or not in any sport. You look around, all around NFL, NBA, you look at Major League Baseball, you look at European soccer, injuries have a huge, huge impact on where teams finish. And if you can find a way to minimize that, and my guess is at some point, analytics will play a role in hopefully getting their arms around that inefficiency. Well, I think that, listen, there's many ways to look at things, and I think the idea that you wouldn't use all the information available to you in any business, I think you probably aren't taking advantage of all the things you can. I think most people who own sport teams at some time or another have owned a business themselves, and there's certainly key metrics that are involved in the success of that business, and not to take that same belief in that and apply it to sports, to me, would be not, once again, taking advantage of all the things you have to help you come to a better decision-making process. Well, the first time you come in contact with it, I think, I know for me, it was sort of a eureka moment when it sort of put baseball in order for me. I mean, and the one thing too is the great thing about this time now is that certainly there's a momentum being created all over the world, and especially in sports, which is obviously a high-profile business. The best thing about it now is you just have access to so much information and so many different ideas. I mean, you can go on the web and search whatever topic in sports and analytics you want. You wouldn't finish it if you spent a whole year reading. And there's some very, very bright people out there. And just like anything else, though, I don't think that there's really one perfect formula yet. And the idea that you found that sort of elixir would probably be short-sighted too. I know even ourselves, we're constantly trying to learn and trying to get better and find systems that are more efficient, more accurate, and the great thing is technology is allowing us to do that. So the parallel between technology, the interest in sports analytics, it's a great time, and I'll be curious to see where it goes as we keep going forward. Well, it's hard to believe, where it started and where it is now. I mean, if the journey for me started when I stopped playing and worked under Sandy Alderson, and he threw a pamphlet at me by a gentleman named Eric Walker, and I read that, and that was my eureka moment. And then I sort of went back and found all the Bill James stuff I could read, the Bill James abstracts, and read all those, and it just made sense for me. And once I had access to that, once I'd sort of seen that, it was really no turning back for myself. But as far as the last 10 years, it really starts for me, I think, when Michael Lewis walked in our office, and we were just trying to survive as a business, trying to find a way to compete in a very challenging situation. And I don't think we ever sort of envisioned that the organization itself would, be put out front in something like this with sports analytics. So it's a bit surreal, but in one sense, but it's also, I think, exciting to see some of the stuff that's happening around us. When you talk about sports conferences that maybe started and spawned from this in the U.S. from the book, and now that they have those in Britain and across Europe, I think it's a little bit humbling if you think, or I don't think we invented anything. I think we had a very prominent, talented writer that happened to walk in our office, and I want to say we got lucky. I don't know if that's the case, because I don't think we knew Michael was going to write a book. In fact, we didn't know he was going to write a book, and I think if we'd have known he was going to, we probably wouldn't have let him in the door. But nevertheless, it's good to see what all this stuff has spawned. Yeah, well, listen, I mean, I think anytime you're doing a movie, there's certainly dramatization in a number of things. And I think, listen, they had a different purpose in mind than Michael did. And, Michael wrote the book, and they're trying to create entertainment. I think they achieved their purpose. And by and large, the template was there, which, came from the book. And, to create a movie, too, you have to create scenes and situations and fit them into 2 hours so that it works. I think if they'd taken the book exactly as Michael wrote it, and to have Brad Pitt doing mathematics for 2 hours probably wouldn't have been that entertaining. So, but when it was all said and done, I didn't write the script or produce the movie, nor did I write the book. So you are a little bit of an outsider watching it play out in front of you. But I think if they set out to entertain people, it seems like at this moment they've achieved that. Listen, there's sort of room for everything. There's room for analytics. There's room for the old-fashioned way. And I think, once again, it really comes down to utilizing everything that's available to you. The U.S. has had one over at MIT, a sports analytic conference for years, and it's grown bigger and bigger. And in my understanding, this is the first one in the United Kingdom. And to me, that's exciting. My only disappointment is I'm not there. I love traveling the country, and it's neat to be around very, very bright people with a passion for what they believe in. And my guess is, if it's anything like the ones we have here in the United States, it's probably only going to grow and grow and have more and more attendees and smarter people. And so I think that's great, and I hope that I don't miss any more of them in the future. But my day job calls me.